Mate, welcome to the show. Welcome to the Seeds. I've got Ricci on, absolute fucking legend. And man, I appreciate you coming. How are you? You good?
Good, fucking good, bro. Thank you for having me. Firstly.
More than welcome.
And,
You're more than welcome.
Love what you're doing, and had to come on.
Yeah, thank you, dude. Thank you. So for anyone listening, I've known Matt for a fucking long time, basically like my little brother. And it's been a crazy journey for you, dude. Like just watching you go from being in Melbourne, kind of wanting to escape into this new world, which is, going to LA, going to America. And I don't say escape in the sense like you're trying to get out and running from something, but it was like you knew that the bubble that you were in was so confining to you that you had to do something, and it was you breaking out and going down this road. But I want you to give us a little story, even just the cliff notes, like when you were in Melbourne, you're like, in your late teens. Just tell them the story about how the fuck you actually ended up in LA, because the fact that happened is just wild to me.
Yeah, bro, it's sort of weird. So the start of my journey, my whole life is like a montage, sort of feels like a movie. It just feels like it happens so quickly. And going from when I was, a young teen, having these aspirations, these big aspirations to be, living in America and being around like famous people, like all those superficial sort of sentiments. And then going from there to actually like being 19 years old, winning the green card lottery. We're like, fuck.
That's fucking so
now
nuts to me, dude.
Now it's a possibility. Like I literally manifested it, like now it's a possibility. Okay, fuck, I guess I got to move now. Like I had no choice. I didn't want to go. I was fucking scared,
Yeah.
Like you're always scared before you jump, before you take that big leap. And then, I moved over there, and for the first 4 years actually was sort of back and forth. I was at I was actually working at like a milk factory here in Melbourne.
Yeah, which is
like
crazy.
Packing boxes and shit.
Yeah.
And basically I was doing that for like 3 years, back and forth, going to LA for like 3 months at a time, trying to connect with people. Everyone would always promise me things and stuff like that. And then I guess came back to Melbourne sort of defeated. I'm going to just jump straight into it, to be honest.
Yeah, go
I'm
for it,
give you
brother. Go for it.
The whole emotional mindset. I was, bro, to be honest, from 20 to 23, going back and forth, staying in Melbourne, working at, packing fucking milk. I was like, I hated my life.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I had, and if people have read like The Power of Now and all those things, you know what victim identity is. And I was a big sufferer of victim identity. And I was always like, why me? Why me? It's not working. Life's hard. And the funny thing is I never cared about money. I was always like, looking back at it, I was broke. Like I had no money, and I was just, doing what I thought to work a job to get money so I could do things with it, but I never had money to do things. And then, funnily enough, I went through this whole like spiritual journey because I was, every day I'd just wake up like, fuck, I don't want to be here. Don't want to be alive. And then from 20 to 23, that was basically that. And then as soon as I moved to America, like properly, like fucking pack my bags during middle of COVID 2020, bro, I had about 7 months of self-exploration, and where I finally, for the first time in my life, was happy to have nothing.
Yeah.
And I was happy to just be alive and breathe. And if I had water, if I had a cold shower, if I was eating on the floor, and that was all okay with me. I was just happy to be alive. Every day was a blessing. And it's funny because as soon as you're happy to have nothing, that's when everything came, bro. Like fucking, it happened so quickly, bro, that I didn't even, it's almost like, I manifested it, but it's almost like someone wrote it for me,
Yeah.
I just got up every day and, walk through the door. Like you got to walk through the door in your own life, but, you also have to allow it to be open in your mind. And then I guess, 3 years later from now, a lot of hard work and
man. Well, look, we're going to dive into it for sure, dude, for sure. But it's crazy, man. And like, firstly, thank you so much for sharing it with me because, it does show that, people look at you on social media, dude, and they might think, oh, look at this guy, good looking boy, easy for him to get there. They don't understand the work that goes into getting to where you are now. Like you're now enriching yourself wealthy wise, but also just within yourself. But that all starts with you cultivating that air of belief within yourself, right? You have to get to a point where you can believe that it is possible. And if you never get to that stage, well, guess what? It's never going to be possible. And I think what you said so beautiful is that you've got to a stage within that part of your life where you were so appreciative for nothing, as in you had nothing, but that was enough for you. Like, you appreciated the little things. There was no a scarcity mindset around, oh, I don't have money, I don't have the car I want, I don't have the house I want. You know, people need to understand this. It's like, if you keep focusing on what you don't have, you're never going to get it. You need to be so fucking appreciative of what you have in this present moment, because, you know, it might not look like it to you, but you've got so many things going on in your fucking world to be appreciative for. And like you said, you can breathe, you've got a roof over your head, you've got food on the table. Even if you're eating on a floor, there's people that can't even do that, dude, you know? And I think that's so beautiful. And then the other crazy part, which I just wanted to touch on, what is the fucking chances of you winning the green card lottery?
I think I did the calculations.
Yeah.
It's actually higher than you think. I think it's like a couple of percent. It's like 3 or 5%. So it's like
Just still crazy.
It's very low, but
But just the
crazy.
fact that, like, you this is what you've wanted to do for so long, and then the chance of you, like, anyone can go to America, dude, and try to make it and figure it out, but you won a fucking, like, citizenship to the country.
Yeah.
When you were, like, what age was it? 18, 19, 20, did you say? 19. And it's like, you manifested that, like, that came to fruition for you. That kickstarted your journey of being able to go there.
Yeah. Two things, bro.
Just nuts.
First thing is, like, and I catch myself out now thinking about, you know, where I not desperately want to be, but my future manifestations, like, you know, this is where I'm going to be, blah, blah. But you forget, bro, that where you are right now is where your past self used to dream of being. So my thing is just being grateful, because I'm a workhorse, bro. I like, you hit this goal, you want another, and it's just human nature. But my thing is just being grateful in the moment now, and just sort of, I guess, reflecting or self-analyzing, like, fuck, like, this is where we're at, you know. But also, it's sort of hard, bro, with this life, because everything's sort of an illusion, if you know what I mean. It's like, if you're not secure and comfortable within yourself and confident, all these numbers, bro, they don't mean anything, you know. And you see that a lot, like, a lot of, like, famous people, like, going off the radar, doing drugs, this, that, divorces, all that shit. Like, what comes with this life, I realized, is you have to be more switched on than ever. And if you fucking slip up, everyone's waiting for you to slip up. And if you slip up, where is the integrity to yourself? You know, if you lack that discipline in certain areas and stuff.
Oh man, I fucking resonate. I wanted to ask, like, just to pick your brain on this, because it's something I've experienced myself. Like, you know, you start a social channel, you start getting this following, you start getting the engagement, you get the followers. And for me, it's like crazy. I thought I had, like, validation, like, under lock and key for myself within the current environment that I'm in. But as soon as it's like this new layer of validation that comes in, that you're never going to experience it until you get onto the social media side of things. You start to gain that following, that community, those people messaging you, and, you know, it's just a crazy thing. And, like, I'll be real with you, I was up at like 1 a.m. most nights when it first started, and I had to catch myself, don't get me wrong, but, like, for that first month, dude, when things started to take off, like, I was in bed waking up, like, I'd go to sleep, and in my brain, I'm thinking, like, who's going to message me? What's going on? And then, like, I'm rolling over at 1 a.m, I'm getting my phone, and I'm, like, looking and checking comments, and I got to a stage, dude, where I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? This is not what I'm about. Like, I shouldn't be doing this. But then you have to reflect on, well, why is that validation affecting me so badly? Have you gone through that? Like, have you experienced it? And how do you deal with it? Because, yeah, I mean, you're at the top levels, brother. Like,
it's the hardest thing in the world to deal with. I've had my main TikTok account banned 15 times.
Fuck,
and I kid you not, bro, every time it just got worse and worse. Like, the way I dealt with it, it was almost like I tried to avoid the feelings. I'm like, oh, it's fine. 2 days later, account's still gone.
How did you talk to me about the feelings, though? Let's dive into that.
Yeah, the feelings are like, so you wake up. So obviously, I love social media. I absolutely love it. I think everyone should, if they can, be on it to benefit their lives in whatever it is. That's great. Yeah. I think as a consumer, you should definitely monitor not your time, but monitor your activity. Be like, am I drifting into where someone else wants me to put my attention for them, and am I being siphoned to their program?
So you're talking like conscious consumption.
Yeah. So always when I watch, even if I read a quote or something, that's why I love your videos, and also your videos are very addicting because they make you feel good, you know, and they make you feel something that's relatable and relatability. No, seriously, and relatability is really important. So, I mean, if I'm consuming, I always just like to be very conscious of why I'm watching it and how's this going to benefit me. And if not, I just try to, like, swipe straight away. Like if a big breasted girl comes on like straight away,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, can I sign this girl for the agency? If not, keep fucking scrolling.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
keep flaccid, you know?
Yeah.
Like, don't, because if I get caught in it, I'm like, fucking, then I'm gonna want to wank, you know? So it's like, no, I'm in control of my mind, no one else.
But no, it is. It's like it's like, you know, delayed gratification in a sense as well, because it's easy just to have that instant gratification when you see like a good looking girl online. You know, it's easy for your mind to go there because that's the easy win. But it is like you have to build up a tolerance. You have to like delay any gratification because that's just going to benefit you in the long run, just in general. But as guess going back into what you're saying, you know, when you get that validation, what is the feeling? What's the emotion behind, you know, your account's banned?
Oh, with my personal account.
Yeah, like with your personal thing, like what was going through your mind and how does that make you feel when you lost what you've been working so hard to achieve?
Bro, you really feel like a victim. Like, and it starts from when you get viral, you get a lot of views, you get a lot of followers. You go in the street and people are like, oh, Teo, like, and then when your account, you rely on that for your self-happiness, which you shouldn't. You should be appreciative of it and grateful for it. But when it gets taken away from you, you go, I would leave the house, bro. And people would be like, oh, like, what's your TikTok? Because, like, we'd be doing videos or whatever. And I would just die inside. I'd be like, well, it's not there right now. They're like, what do you mean? What does that mean? I'm like, oh, it's banned, but it'll come back. That's what I'll say, you know?
Yeah.
But in the back of my mind, I'm like, my identity's gone.
Yeah.
And that's a really bad way to think.
So let's dive into that even further.
It feels like an identity crisis almost.
So
you know?
would you say that it's fair that with like the identity aspect of it all, you aligned so heavily and you were pulling worth and you were pulling the ability to feel good enough within that identity? Like, did you feel like you were pulling so much of your worth from that online persona? Because there's Matt online and then there's Matt that I know, and there's a little bit of crossover, but you're, in my opinion, like you offer so much more in depth, like this conversation, but your online presence is more, and I don't say this in any disrespect, but there is like a shallowness of sorts because it's entertainment. It's not saying that you're a shallow person, but it's like it's there purely for the entertainment factor.
Yeah. It's very surface value.
Yeah, and that's fine, bro. And like you've done exceptionally well being able to tame that beast because so many people can't. You've been able to really fine tune it. But I guess the question I'm trying to come to is the identity that you pulled from it. How did you detach and how do you now identify still with all of that social proof that's coming through?
Probably the best way to detach was going back to the fundamentals and just realizing like, look, if I was okay without all this, then I can be okay again without it. Yeah. You know, and the funny thing about life is if it can be given to you, it can also be taken away from you just as easily. Yeah. So that's something, you know, just a spiritual lesson from life that I learned and still currently learning and applying myself on it every day and trying to deal with it every day. Because I don't think you can truly master something. I don't believe in mastering. I truly believe that you just keep getting better at it. Yeah. And like look at like the best soccer players or fighters in the world. Like they're always in the gym fucking trying to get better and better. Yeah. But back to like who I was and this person that came out, I would say, you know, I always used to think, oh, you know, I always knew I was going to be famous. Don't know how, but I always would say, I'm like, oh, when I'm famous, then I'll be confident. Then I'll dress like this. Then I'll do that. Then I'll talk to people like this. But through the harsh lessons of life, I was like that and became like that, and then I became famous. You know, and it's the thing, bro. If you're taking a video of yourself and people don't see the confidence in you, it's like why do they want to follow you? You know, and you have. And to anyone watching or listening to this, you have to be the person that you want to be because you don't just get granted a wish and then you become that person. You have to become that person and then everything else follows. You know? And in any field, not just success. Yeah, 100%, dude. And Joe Dispenser, I mean, I love him. I don't know. I think you've dealt with him. Like Joe, good old Joe boy. But man, like he talks about it all the time. It's like you have to embody the future you now. Feel it. You have to feel it. You have to feel the emotion. You have to feel what it would feel like to be that success or be that person or be somebody who you know, want to be. But it has to be in the now, regardless of your current circumstances. Like you have to really dive into that in the present moment and be it, live it, feel it, fucking bang it, do whatever. Like get into it. Throw yourself in the deep end.
Your energy changes. And like when your energy changes, your environment and your circumstances change. And that's been proven through, you know, I don't know how many thousands of studies this guy's done now. And I've done the course. Well, I'm actually should say I'm doing the course with him now, which has been eye-opening, like completely eye-opening. But it's so true. But I wanted to ask you this, man, because go ahead. Go ahead.
And tools to change how you want. If you can't change how you feel, a good tool is to change your environment.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time, you are a product. Actually, that's like a rule of nature. You're a product of your environment, bro.
Yeah.
Flowers not going to grow in a dark house.
Fucking so true. Mushrooms will, but not flowers. Not flowers.
So go on. You wanted to ask.
Yeah, like I just wanted to ask because there's something that this is just from my personal. I just want to ask you just to get your perspective on it. But you know, you've moved to because you've got your life in Melbourne, right? And you've got your friends, you've got your family, you've got everything that you know up until that point. That's what you know.
Yeah.
And I think the beautiful thing is that what you know is all you'll know.
Yes.
Right. You will never be able to have room for the unknown if you stay all in the known of what you are and what you know and the people that you surround yourself with. And I think the beautiful thing is like you've opened up this opportunity where you've actually opened up space for the unknown, regardless good, bad or ugly. So you've gone to LA, right? You're there. You have to go meet people. You have to restart your life essentially, networking, meeting new people. And, you know, the overall vibe of LA that I've heard of, and I know you've mentioned this to me in the past, is it is very like that superficial. It's kind of everyone's in there like, what's in it for me? That's the mindset. You know, what can I get from this person?
Yes.
Is that true? Does that make sense so far?
Absolutely. And before I officially moved, I was that person seeking things from other people.
Yeah.
And I look back at that and I'm like, like the only way I could have learned to not be that person is by becoming someone who people can leech off. Yeah. And now when people do it to me, I'm just, I don't pass judgment, but it's just like, it's almost like someone trying to take something from your life, you know, or take a piece from you. But the first year was in LA and I felt like just conquered it, bro, to be honest. Conquered the networking, people, mindset, just stood above everything. I'd be at all the parties where people are doing crazy shit and all that. Went to like, I wouldn't say hundreds, but nearly 100 of them. And I would always be sober. I'd always just be trying to just enjoy the moment and not get something from it, but just to, like you said, throw myself in the unknown and just see where every day takes me.
Yeah,
and then from that first year in LA, then moved over to Vegas for the next year. And now I just feel like now I want a new change. So now I might go to Miami, you know? So I'm actually thinking of moving to Miami this year.
That's amazing, dude.
Because there's a lot of opportunities there. And yeah, I just want to... It's sort of hard, bro, because like you said, what you know, you're confined to that if you don't keep knowing more. And I don't want to tie it to location, but if you're constant, like when you travel, bro, why does everything either go really, really right or really wrong? You know, and usually when you travel, really good things happen, and there's just so many unexpected situations, and that sort of thing when you keep meeting new people and you live in a different place, bro, you learn so much. You know. If you're still in your hometown, I don't think it's necessarily Melbourne, but
no, it's definitely not. I've got a theory on this, by the way. Yeah,
so I think everyone, I don't know what the percentage would be, but a lot of people have the hometown itch and where they want something more from their lives that's around just the same shit their childhood friends have been doing their whole life. Yeah. And you know, bro, if someone in your hometown has had the same job for 10, 15 years and they're having the same conversations and they're watching the same news outlets and all this, they're not growing as people, and neither are you. So it's like, it's up to you to go out and learn new things. Yeah,
fucking oath, man. You know, it's crazy. Like, this is just, I had a conversation with a friend of mine about traveling, because for me, like, I want to maybe move to Thailand in a month, depending if certain things permit, and I can do that. But it's definitely my intention long term. Like, I am going to do it. It's just a timing thing. But, you know, I was having a chat with a friend the other day, and I was like, you know, do I stay in Melbourne? Do I go to Thailand? And because I said to him, like, when I'm there, I don't have to be me. And I don't say being me as in like I'm not being authentic.
The facade of you.
But there's an identity that gets created over your life that, you know, if you're with certain people in your life, people know you a certain way. It's so hard to break that mold. The other side of that fence is that, do you want to break it? Or do you know how to break that identity? And when you get to go traveling, dude, And even if it's by yourself, and it's especially if you go by yourself, because if you go with a girlfriend or you go with a friend, you're still tied to an identity that you don't want to shift from because you're with somebody that knows you a certain way.
Yep.
But when you go by yourself, bro, you're like a fucking onion that gets to peel back the layers, and you get to keep peeling them back until you get to the most authentic version of you. And
Best
that
feeling
authentic
in the
version,
world.
100% it is, bro.
Best
And like
feeling.
I felt that when I went to Thailand last year and I did the meditation retreat, I did the yoga retreat. There was just something about being able to just release this fucking weight, this mask that I've had to carry around, and just be myself and start to fall back in love with the parts of me that I had neglected for such a long time. And there's something really freeing about that. And, you know, that's why, not that I'm running away, going to, you know, Thailand either next month or even to early next year, but it's just like, I felt like the best version of myself there. I felt like the most authentic version of myself because I didn't have this, you know, this mold that people wanted to put me in, this box, confined box of like, you have to be this way and you have to speak this way and you have to be the funny guy and you have to be blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You know, so there's something really beautiful there.
And bro, that makes me so happy to hear that. And
Appreciate
also
it, dude.
people want to keep you in your box because by you changing and let's say escaping, but not escaping.
Yeah.
By you changing and developing, that is exposing themselves. That is exposing the lack of action or change in their lives, you know?
Yeah, I love that, bro. And it's true. Like, you know, when people have an issue with what you're doing, it says more about the issues they're facing with themselves. And they've got internal wars that they haven't really dealt with. And they haven't won those wars. And those wars are still waging on inside them. So when they're taking it out on you, or they've got a concern about you, or they're judging you, or whatever the case is, whatever negativity they're putting out into the world towards you, that says more about them than you in any fucking shape or any of the imagination you can put towards that. So I 100% agree.
100%.
How did you find like meeting people and building like authentic friendships or like with these people? Because like you're saying to me, like it's a very leech on, leech off world.
Yeah.
How do you build fucking authenticity with friendship? And did you go through stages of like being lonely there? And like, how did you face that? Like, how do you face loneliness?
Currently very lonely over there.
Yeah.
But I don't care. Like I was born to be alone. You know, I thrive off like the way I was raised, very loving family and stuff like that. But I learned to be happy by myself. You know, I learned that all I have in this world, my most valuable currency is time.
Yeah.
And I need to spend every moment of time doing something that doesn't matter what it is, but it needs to be important to me, you know?
Yeah.
So going back to the friend topic, I have a lot of acquaintances. Like I think if I went to anywhere, I would be like bump into a lot of people. Like, oh yeah, hey, what's up, man? Yeah, they know me. I'll tell you, he's a cool guy, whatever. Yeah. And in terms of friends, I don't have friends, but I have brothers from other mothers, you know? So like I have my family here, my actual brothers, and then I have 2 to 4 like solid fucking like people I would call brothers over there who like I would literally, like you, bro, they call me, they need something, I dropped it. You know, I'll just do whatever. Like I'm on the way home from boxing training, my friend calls me and he's like, yo bro, like I need you to like go to my house, my house and quickly express ship something and then fucking blah, blah, blah. It took like an hour out of my day, but I'm like, bro, I didn't even question it. I'm like, yeah for real, bro. Like I got you. Because these are people that we sort of had the same start line, very similar upbringings and ideologies. And we, you know, we helped each other grow and we came up together. So I think when you share success with someone also, it's very bonding, you know.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Very bonding.
For sure. And like I haven't experienced, you know, I'm not saying that I haven't got friends that have done success, and you know, me and, you know, Rick and the boys, like we catch up once a month and we spend, you know, an hour or 2 hours once a month just purely focusing on like how can we move the needle in our lives. And that could be through investments, business, you know, personal development, mental health, what's going on in our worlds right now that we need support. Like how can we support each other every single day or with what we need. And I think it's so important with what you said, man. Like you don't need a lot of people in your world, but you just need those people that are fucking with you and are down for you and that have your back regardless what goes on, because they allow you to be you. They allow you to express yourself and be vulnerable and go through the motions. And, you know, I think one of the most beautiful things is to be have the ability to be vulnerable with the people that you care about.
Yep.
Like there's something so freeing and so beautiful about that. And I know for me, like I struggled with that my whole life, being vulnerable with people. And that was due to, a bunch of, childhood trauma that I've had to experience, and that shuts you down. And I guess on the topic of childhood trauma, like, obviously I know your family, I know your brothers, but do you feel like there was something within that nature and, answer at your own will? Like, I don't want to push too much here, but, was there something, even at a high level, was there something that you felt that you struggled with from like a form of trauma of sorts that, you've had to deal with and unpack?
I mean, 100%. There are things in my early, would you call it, adolescent life.
Yeah.
School structure, family upbringing. I'd say the biggest issue I ever had with my brothers was that, like, particularly my brothers, is that they're 5 years and 8 years older than me, right? So when I was starting to become a teenager, I always wanted to be around them. And I always wanted to, like, hey, like, they'd be like, oh, I'm seeing, like, their best friends, like, oh, can I come? Can I? And them always going, no. I was like, fuck, okay. I think I'm, like, in this world alone.
Right.
And although when we're at home together, we're like best friends, everything's amazing. But then there's that sort of part of me growing up that wants to express myself in a more external world or feel cool and whatever. So I think that would be the only thing where, like, that, and my parents working so much, to be honest, always working. So I was just like, for me, it was just school, soccer. Like, I catch the train to soccer. I'd be doing pull-ups shirtless on the train at 13.
Yeah.
Everyone would be looking at me like, who the fuck's this kid think he is? But I always just was that person, I always, like, it's not that I'm trying to show off. It's just, I want to be shirtless and I want to do pull-ups on the train. Yeah. And I don't give a fuck if you're watching. Yeah. And that's it. It's not me trying to get attention. And that's why it's funny. Like, I was that person, and then that's why my social media image is how it is. It's not because I'm trying to get attention or being ignorant. I'm just unapologetically being myself, And I think but going back to your question, I think when you're forced to be alone, you become sort of, a different sort of force.
Yeah. I think, I love that, dude. I heard a quote, I can't remember who said it, but it's a beautiful thing around being alone. And it's like how you view it, it's a perspective shift. And you can either look at it as being lonely, or you can look at it as being in solitude.
Or freedom.
Or freedom, know. And, if you're lonely, you're looking at it from a negative light, which is, you're sad, you're in victimhood, you're not feeling good about yourself, you're thinking too much about the past and, why the reason you're upset, and you're just not in a good place. It's coming from fear. When you're in solitude, it's from a place of curiosity. You're able to learn about yourself.
Explore yourself.
100%. Like, the only fucking way that you can really know yourself is to be with yourself and not distract through external forces, whether that's your Netflix, your phone, your this. And look, I'm saying this and preaching, and don't get me wrong, I'm fucking 100% in the boat with everyone else. Like, don't get me wrong, I get distracted by things. And I guess I have to then reflect and be more aware of that and go, well, what am I trying to avoid in this moment of being by myself?
Yeah.
Really powerful question to ask yourself when you're by yourself. Like, what is it? Why do I now want to go reach for my phone? Why do I want to go?
And that takes a lot for you to do that, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you, what was the main catalyst for you to start your, spiritual journey, self-exploration? Like, what was the thing? Did you consciously decide it, or like, did you just fall into it?
Fuck, man. Look, it's probably a little bit of both. Like, for me, I've had, from a childhood trauma, like, my dad left and I didn't speak to my dad for almost 18, 19 years, like, no contact. I had a stepdad who came in the picture who, as much as, like, I love him, I should say, there was, like, the emotional abuse and the verbal abuse, and, that was due to his generational trauma of how he was treated as a kid. So I don't blame him because he doesn't know any better, but that was definitely a big impact on my life. And then, you factor in the feelings of abandonment. You factor in the fact that, my dad leaves and goes to Melbourne, then moves to Italy. My mum being busy working all the time. This new dad comes in the picture. Like, it's just like not good enough, abandoned, don't feel loved, don't feel heard, don't feel seen.
And then the representation of your life is living through all these emotions. 100%. You became a person who was all these things.
Yeah, exactly. So I think, look, I went through my 20s as this just scared, like, run by fear, in victimhood human being. And that was prominent like throughout my whole 20s, dude. And then I think late 20s, maybe about 25, 26, 27, little things started happening, you know, like the pain of changing was not as bad as the pain I was in that moment.
Of holding it.
Like I was getting so sick of the excuses I was feeding myself on a daily basis of why I couldn't get this or why I couldn't do that. And, you know, it takes baby steps. Like it was baby steps for me, dude. It was taking those little steps of going, okay, making a list. What don't I like about myself right now? And, you know, I was speaking to Rick about this. It's like, you know, a star full of, you know, a fucking sky full of stars, dude. There's a million one problems I can pull out of what I'm not happy about. But I just started focusing on like one thing.
Yeah.
And then it was, okay, I'm starting to get a hang of that. Let me move on to the next thing. So as far as like the healing journey, it was sporadic at times. And then I'd say probably 2 years ago, so probably 29 to 30, I'd say probably 30 is when I really just said, nah, I'm not going to be a victim anymore. Yep. I'm taking full accountability for my life, because if you don't do that, nothing's changing. You can easily sit and wallow with yourself and be in the fucking sads. But until you own every single thing that's happened in your life, the reason I'm not happy is because I'm choosing not to deal with my problems. The reason why I'm in a relationship that I feel like it's toxic and it's not serving me is because I chose to put myself there. I've chose to stay and I've chose not to leave. The reason why things at work aren't doing well is because I'm not pushing myself and I'm not breaking through that fucking barrier of fear and asking for a promotion or telling people what I want, not fucking what I feel like they're going to judge me or they're going to do this or that. So it's just constantly being accountable and constantly making sure that I'm doing what's right by me first. And then, you know, you extrapolate that out 2 years. We're here today. We're doing podcasts. We're doing, you know, and it's crazy to think, dude, because I never in a million years, 2 years ago, if you said, hey, dude, you're going to be running a podcast, you're going to be blowing up on socials, you're going to be doing all these things. They're all amazing. But if you told me 2 years ago, dude, it would have been
believed
like,
it. Yeah.
No, that's not me, man. I'm not that guy. And then, you know, here we are. And it's like when you align with your purpose, bro, like I feel this is genuinely my purpose on earth. And when you align with your purpose, it's a different feeling.
Yeah.
And nothing's in your way. Like you when you're aligning with your purpose, bro, things start moving in alignment with what you're doing. And that's when you know, when things start coming into your world easier, with less friction, with less force, and you're just taking in these opportunities and you're open to the world and you're abundant and you're running through things and you're just like, this is me.
Yeah.
That's where it is. And I'm sure you've felt.
Yeah, bro. A lot of people don't realize that their minds, their pineal gland right here, the third eye, whatever the fuck you want to call it, is an antenna, like for anything you want in this life.
Yeah.
And some people use it without knowing how to use it, and some people want to know how to use it and don't know how to use it.
Yeah.
But it all comes back to feeling, bro. You have to feel who you want to be.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Yeah.
And that's why the book To Think and Grow Rich, great author.
Yeah.
But the title is very misleading because people just think, all right, gotta think I'm rich, gotta think I'm rich. And the key to manifestation isn't thinking, it's the thought with visualization and a feeling at the same time. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
So it's not just like, oh, I want a Lamborghini. It's you picturing yourself in the Lamborghini or driving it, saying, you know, that's your car, and then feeling how it would feel. That's the most, like, feeling how it would feel. That's your Lamborghini. And then so many times where I've manifested, I want to make this much money. I want to be here. I want to do that. And I literally imagined if I like made that much money, and I was like, like I was like, oh fuck, this is like good. I'd close my eyes, I'd put the frequency music on, do that shit, and then bro, I let it go for 5 months. Yeah, bro. 5 months later, I look at like my, you know, balance, and I'm just like, fuck, I'm gonna make that much this month. Like I'm gonna, and that feeling that came to me, bro, was the same one that I produced. Yeah. And I forgot it that whole time. And then when it came back, I was like, I created this. Like I literally did. And it came to me, and it's like, what the fuck? And I think even if you want to be more loving or more understanding with people in your life, and that it can also work with those things as well. Not just physical things. Yeah, you know?
For sure, dude. For sure. And like, I know what you're talking about when you're running through all these feelings, right? Because, you know, there'd be so many highs and lows for you, right? And they're all predicated on maybe certain, you know, vanity metrics or people you meet or whatever the case is. But, you know, do you have certain non-negotiable coping things that you do on a daily basis that align you and make sure that when you get up in the morning and you go out and you attack the world and you just go and fucking own shit.
Like, you mean like habits?
Yeah, like, because when you're running at the level you are, dude, like, how many followers now? You got fucking 8,
like
9,
10 all up.
10 million followers, which is just mind-boggling, right? I don't even want to know how many views that is, but you know, it'd be fucking crazy, astronomical. But
some months like 500 million views across everywhere,
which is just that's
it's fucking nuts.
It's like Monopoly numbers, mate.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming, like, and tell me, you don't just tell me you just eat a pack of Doritos and you're having a Coke on the couch. Like, I'm sure there's actual things that you're doing that you're importing into your mornings or your days or in some form, which is going to be valuable to whoever's listening. But, you know, what are the things that you're doing so that you can be on top of your game on a daily basis? Like, what are those non-negotiables for you that doesn't matter what's going on in your world, in your life, like, that is what you're doing regardless of what's going on?
Regardless. Okay, so definitely got to, before bed, you have to write down a list of everything I'm going to do the next day or anything I want to do.
Yeah.
Have to do that. If I don't do that, then my mind isn't programmed to tackle those tasks when I wake up. I always try to make my last thought before I fall asleep, like when I'm in that very low frequency of like drifting off to theta or whatever, or delta. Yeah. I try to make that last thought something that is a conscious thought, not something that the devil put in there or someone else put in there.
Give me an idea of a conscious thought.
So I'll be like, I'm so happy with the person that I am, and I'm a loving person, and tomorrow I'm going to be more patient and less angry at little things. Boom. Yeah. And then I realize when I wake up that sort of manifestation or whatever carries on through the day, and then I became a little bit better than I was yesterday. So that's the first thing. I write down what I got to do, all the tasks. Otherwise my brain gets like cluttered, bro. And then anxiety gets produced. Like if you have all these things on your mind, like, oh, I need to do this, just little things like, oh, I need to post on this platform at that time, blah, blah. So then when I wake up, I always try to, in the first 3 hours, it doesn't really matter the order, but the first 3 hours is always a workout, cold shower, meditation, and like 30 minutes of play, happy time, whether it's with the dog or like, sometimes it's an hour, sometimes it's 10 minutes, sometimes it's 30 minutes, whatever. But cold shower, workout, and those things is definitely has to be at the top of the list. Yeah. And then after that, there's like an hour of decluttering, posting, you know, all that stuff. Usually I already have content edited. Yeah. So then I get on with my posting, and then I like to, if I already have content, then I don't need to film. But usually every day I like to film. Yeah. And when I'm not doing that, I'm actually consuming other people's content to see, okay, what's popular. Yeah. Like as a lesson to myself, what's popular? What are the pop trends? What are people consuming? What are people like? All right, how does this relate to my content? Should I innovate a bit more? Should I change? Should I copy that in my own way? All this stuff. So always just trying to learn other things I have to do. Give me the reference question again. Yeah, so I was saying to you in the sense of like, what are the healthy habits that you implement and what I call as non-negotiables? So whether that's you doing like every day in the morning, let's say as an example for me, 6 a.m. till 8. Yeah. That is me doing yoga and meditation. Right. Like it doesn't matter what's going on in my morning. Like that is me time, and that's what I allocate to myself to make sure that I'm filling my cup for the day. Yeah. So that's what I'm sort of talking about with that sort of stuff. For me, it's just not giving a fuck how I feel in regards to work, because a lot of the days I'll be like, I'm very blessed to do what I'm able to do, but a lot of days I'm like, fuck, can't be fucked. But it doesn't matter how I feel. I always like, especially with the time zone, being back in Australia for this 2 weeks, bro, it's like I'm posting at night before I go to bed now because I have jet lag. I'm like, I have to do it. I'm like, and I won't let myself go to bed until I do the work. So I guess my coping mechanism is doing the work, bro. Yeah. And equipping my mind and body with physical activity and meditation so that I'm mentally capable to do the work. Yeah. You know, and be happy about it, not be like fucking miserable. Yeah, for sure. Know? So what's the goal for you, bro? Like I guess let me rephrase that question. Good idea. What is the end goal for you with this? Like you've made a ton of money, you've got a huge following, you've killed it across all platforms. You are, I would call famous, like you're a famous creator. Like you've built this amazing life for yourself. And what's the end goal? And at what cost is that for you? And have you thought about this? I have. I think about it every day. My my goal is to actually, because I understand that people love my videos, it distracts them from their lives and makes them happy. My overall goal is to actually make more wholesome content. And
what does that mean for you?
For me, it means it's sort of hard, bro, because in the rules of social media today, you see a lot of people get, demonetized, taken down when there's too much truth spoken. But there's so many, that's why I love being on podcasts and talking with you right now. There's so many things that I want to tell people, or a side, like this side, I want to show people a side of me that is the real me. And not just be this fucking clown. But this is the thing, if anyone knows me, I am a clown in real life. I am. But it's a portion of who I am. It's not all who I am.
Of course, it's a facet of yourself. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think for me, it's just, I think showing, because you get, like on TikTok, 6.5 million followers. And the first million's always like, wow, like 1 million followers. And then after that, I know it sounds terrible, but I know they're all real people. But each million's like, you just take it for granted, bro. Yeah. And you're like, oh, it's just a number. And now I'm like, okay, would I rather be someone with 10 million followers who's doing something that maybe I'm more passionate about or changing people's lives, rather than 20 million and still the same clown I was a year ago?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think if I'm going to put conscious thought to it and just keep developing in that sense and keep trying to change the scope of who I am and showing people that. But also, bro, people's attention spans are very short, and when you create an image for yourself online, you can't just change it straight away. You have to slowly change the rules.
Yeah, it's like re-educating them about this new version of you, which is always your version, but it's like new to them. But this has always been you.
It's like fucking Caitlyn Jenner, transitioning to Bruce Jenner. Like, she just got the dick straight away. Everyone's like, whoa, but she started with the makeup. She's dressing a bit weird. Yeah. Like, not weird, sorry. She's dressing differently.
Yeah.
And then, and people are already used to it. So I guess it's sort of like, that's maybe a bad example, but.
No, but like, maybe. No offense to anyone listening.
Yeah, no offense.
Yeah, I love that, dude. But at the same time, like, I can understand from your side, it's like you've got this, like, almost like an identity authenticity crisis, which is like, granted, there's an element, this facet of you, which is authentic, which is the clown, which is the guy making people laugh and having a good time. But where do you draw the line? And are you still feeling the same way about your content as you used to? And does it then start to make you feel like there's friction in your life because you want to be doing one thing, which is this wholesome, more authentic you, talking about, these sort of topic matter, but it's like you're almost getting somewhat forced because that's where the monetization's coming from. Right. That's where the following and the engagement and the public eye is coming from. How do you manage that, dude? I don't have the answer, but that's why I wanted to ask, because I'm sure that's come up at some point.
Well, currently I'm 26.
Yeah.
And if I won't make a video unless I'm passionate about it, unless I'm having fun. I genuinely love, bro, I fucking love TikTok. Like, I love making videos.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, I have so much fun doing. I'm always in the moment. Like, I'm such a creative mind. And I started with music. I thought I was only creative writing songs, from 16 to my current age. But then I realized my creativity is expanded beyond music.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what makes me happy. So just creating in general, creating anything. But I think with not that I like to look at human numbers or age, but I'm itching to keep developing, but I'm in no rush whatsoever to change it right now. Yeah. I'm just like, bro, at 35, I'm going to be a fucking actor. Like, not now, but maybe in like 10 years, I'll be on like the biggest movie. But I don't need to be now. Like, people aren't ready for that me now, So for now, I'm just going to be who I want to be. And then just as I feel the inclination to take action towards those things, just keep doing it one step at a time. Just how I got here, I think that'll be good for me.
Yeah. And has there ever been a moment in time where you've had to, like, because I'm sure there's so many moments in the montage of Matt or Teo Ricci or whatever the fuck I'm meant to call you these days, fucking changing your name and whatever. But is there like any specific moment that can come to mind where you've had to prioritize your mental health over the career? Like, was there ever a pinnacle moment where you've had to really go, I need to just focus my pure attention on looking after me? Or have you always kind of been on top of it? Because I know for me, there's been moments, and I'm not even at your level.
Yeah,
and there's
yeah,
definitely
yeah.
been moments where I'm like, nah, I need to just put that away for a week because I can't deal with doing that anymore. I need to focus on my mental health getting affected. And
Not because of the work. There was
Okay.
something that happened in my personal life that I had to. I think I took 3 days off social media.
Yeah.
That's the longest I've ever taken in 3 years.
Jesus.
But that was it. But that's only because personal things in my life needed attention, you know, and I wouldn't have been able to carry on the tasks that I was meant to
Yeah.
without stopping, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But bro, recently, or like a year ago, I thought it was interesting to touch on. A really close friend of mine, he died.
Fuck.
So
Sorry, yeah. Condolences as well.
no,
Yeah.
thanks, bro. But it's crazy because I noticed that when people die in my life, I know it's sort of crazy. You wanna feel like, fuck, like why them, this, that. And initially I was like, you know, you're shocked. I was like, fuck, I'm sad. Like he was a good kid.
Yeah.
But bro, all death does is inspire me so much more. Like it's this feeling I cannot explain. When someone dies, I get so inspired to just live a meaningful life and go, okay, what am I doing right now that if I fucking died right now, I'd be mad at myself? Like my dead self would be curling in his grave that I didn't change it right now.
Yeah.
And you just gotta, whatever that is, anyone listening, you gotta fucking change that. And you gotta, I know it's sort of morbid, maybe to some people it's morbid, but to me it's inspiring positively. But I imagine that this is my last day.
Yeah.
Because it is. We all don't get a fucking right to have another day. And if you did have another day, you just gotta fucking take it, bro.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about death, honestly. I know it sounds really fucked up, but
It's
it
not
brings,
fucked up.
it brings the best change in me.
Yeah, it's
you
not
know?
fucked up, bro. It gives you a reality check of how precious life can be, and
Very.
to use the time you've got left in the most meaningful and most authentic way you can, and stop worrying about bullshit that doesn't fucking matter.
Exactly, bro.
Because it doesn't.
It teaches you to not care about the little things.
Yeah.
And not care about what people think about you. And I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, dude. No, look, and you know what's funny? Like Gary Vee talks about this, where he's like, you know, you want to be successful every day, and especially for gratitude, dude. Like what he talks about, which is, it's Gary Vee, so you can imagine the voice and the the fucking
the high
hey
pitch.
guys, you know. But he talks about that, like he goes, for him to be grateful, he goes, every single morning I wake up and I think about my mum dying. And it sounds fucked up. People go, but that's cooked. Like, what do you mean you think about your mum dying? You're going to manifest your mum dying. But in his mind, it's like...
Oh, his mum's not dead.
No, she's not dead.
Oh, but
she's
he
alive.
imagines
She's
her
alive
dying.
and thriving,
Okay.
bro. Yeah. But in his mind, he's just like, I just think about my mum dead. And it's like, and that brings me into a state of gratitude to know that I've still got so much more precious things in my world. And it kind of takes away from the problems, the small bullshit, shallow problems that we all face in our day-to-day worlds. And I think, like, just on the topic of gratitude, do you practice? Are you going through the motions with that pretty regularly? Because I've really started to hone that myself. So I think from just your side, I'd love to hear, like,
honestly, bro, now that you've asked it, full me being real with you, the last month, no. But
what's the reason?
Probably not conscious enough.
Okay.
To be honest, yeah.
Why do you feel you're not conscious enough?
Wanting more. Attachment to desire.
And where does the attachment from desire come from?
Not feeling good enough.
And why don't you feel good enough?
Because I want to do more. But yeah. Now that you've said that, that's gonna butterfly effect and change my life, because that's how I got here. Gratitude, bro. Just like I said, you know, being grateful, just having a breath and being alive.
Yeah.
And now that you've put that back into me,
you're welcome.
I'm gonna seriously, and I'm gonna remember that now. But yeah, gratitude, bro, is a life changer, because it takes you from reinforcing a lack of to fucking, oh well, I have this, you have that green sweater, and not just material things, but
it's important, bro.
Yeah.
And what's Ricci scared of? Like, what is your fear? Like, what fears do you harbor now? That are they the same types of fears? Because I know with success, we typically feed off an insecurity, or we feed off a fear, and that is propelling us to prove something. And I know you say that you're going down this road and you don't give a fuck what people think, but is there something that you fear that's trying to either keep you where you are, or is propelling you forward, and you're just trying to...
My fear is, like, if I show the world my true self, like my true fucking self, that I'm gonna get cancelled.
Okay.
And that's just it. Like I cannot speak my mind freely in this world, and I wouldn't say it's what I fear, but it's what pisses me off.
Yeah, that's
And I'm not ready to die for it yet.
No,
not
way.
yet, not yet.
No way.
I might be one day, and
I don't
then
want you dying, bro.
I might one day, and
maybe
then
you'll
become that
inspire
person.
Me.
But
Just drop dead, make me fucking grateful. But yeah, I can see that, dude. Like that would be such a challenge. I don't even know how you'd be walking through that road by yourself, going like, I can't be who the fuck I want to be. I've got to be this version of me. Like surely, like that would just eat at you. Like you'd be almost like pissed off at yourself that you can't do it. But it's like, is that in your level of control though, or are you putting that control onto the external world? Because in reality, you could just be yourself. Like you could. Like,
you're right.
Worst
You're
case
right.
scenario,
You're right.
you just could.
Yep. But there are consequences.
There are consequences, but are those consequences worse off than you being yourself, or you being a version of you that you really want to be? And what do you find is more value to you?
In the short term, might be a cop out, but in the short term, definitely to continue what I'm doing. But in the long term, definitely it needs to happen.
Yeah.
It has to.
Yeah.
It has to.
Do you feel like it eats at you?
Yeah, bro. But yeah. I could post 1 10-second video on all my platforms of me just talking, not hate speech, no belligerence towards anyone.
Yeah.
I guarantee that I would be deleted off every platform.
Why?
Because,
like,
bro.
Yeah. How's that?
I don't know, bro. The world's in a weird place where we have to accept everyone's fucking laws and ideologies and opinions, and we cannot change the scope or have an opinion on it.
Yeah, okay. But are you talking about... So, like, for example, when I'm talking about real stuff. I'm talking about my own struggles. I'm talking about...
Right.
Like,
no. I'm talking about, like...
your beliefs. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, beliefs, yeah.
Oh, okay. Fuck, what are you going to say, bro? This guy's just going to go and just absolutely...
No, I'm not saying it.
Not saying anything. Do it. No, okay. So, in that sense, so what you want to do is you want to be able to speak your mind on topics that are sensitive in nature, is what you're saying.
Yes.
But do you also have the same want to be able to talk about stuff like what we're speaking about now? Because, dude, you have got the knowledge, bro. You've got the experience. Like, the way you speak and what you're talking about. Like, not many people want to understand or can understand, like, the scope of the context of what you're talking about.
No,
like,
I understand, yeah.
You know, and you have so much
that,
to give in that department. Bro.
That I'm not fearful of, and that I can definitely implement.
Yeah, because that's also wholesome, dude.
Yeah, it is.
And that's you. I feel like that's you being more authentic to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, still do the educational stuff, but maybe you do long form on YouTube of just you talking about like experiences and things. Maybe your short form you keep to what it is, and then you do
that's
long
not
form,
a bad idea.
more depth about who
some
Matt
clickbait
is.
title. How I deal with mental health.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
And I think like...
And then it's just me screaming in a cold tub.
Well, I just see like... like in an ice bath. But no, I just think of it like this, dude. Like, you got so many young people following you that look up to you, that aspire to be you. You've got such a platform. And I'm not saying that you're not doing good, dude. I'm talking like... But you've got such a platform that I honestly believe, and I say this because I fucking love you, you got a platform to do more, bro. Like, 100%. You've got a platform to
100%.
really hone in what you know for these young people that are coming up. And they're looking for guidance, dude. Like, in a world how fucked up this world is, and what's going on with whatever it is, obviously we won't talk about it, but like, it is. The world's fucked up at the moment, and like, I feel like people look for you for entertainment, but I think they could also look to you for guidance around how they can progress through life in a positive way, because I just see it, man. Like, I'm just putting dots together here, but
100%.
I can see it happening for you in going down that road. Are you open to that? Like, is that something you would do?
Yeah, bro. Like, this world is fucked up.
Yeah.
And you cannot make... this is what I would want to say. This world is fucked up, and you cannot make excuses for yourself anymore. Yeah. And you need to take action. You know the action that you should be taking. So just do it.
Yeah.
And
I love that.
Nothing, like a lot of people have said, you can't just fucking be aiming. You got a machine gun. You can't just be aiming all day and not pulling the trigger. You got to fucking pull the trigger and then like move it a little. Okay, maybe a bit higher. Boom, pull the trigger again. Yeah. And it's just, that's all I want to say right now. Just action.
Just
Yeah.
action.
That's the only thing that's I think's got me where I am, bro. Is just little steps every day.
Yeah.
You know, and if you don't do it, like do today, so you don't have to do it tomorrow. You know.
Yeah. And I thought I'd ask this as well, man, because I struggle with this. Like, you've been able to break through these barriers of fear, which fear is just your ego creating a narrative, which
false illusions.
How do you deal with that? Like, how do you deal with your ego in the sense that when that voice is talking, are you coming from a place of observation? Do you ever feed into that ego talk, that self-narrative, that self-belief? Like, how do you keep pushing past these boundaries? Or do you leverage the fact that you are constantly accomplishing things so that voice... Okay, let me say it this way. With all the accomplishments you've gone down the road with, like just one after another, you're knocking them down, right? Does that quiet the voice in your head? Or do you still have the same thoughts of self-doubt and fear and disbelief and lack of belief within yourself every day, but you're just more conditioned to going, I can hear you, but I ain't fucking listening to you today because we got shit to do?
I don't think it ever goes away, and I think it's like life doesn't get easier; you just get stronger, bro.
Yeah,
and it doesn't affect me on a emotional level anymore.
Yeah,
now it's just like I'd say the biggest fear is of everyone who's in a high status. Let's say they got a good job or blah blah, earning good money. You're grateful for it at the time, but you're going. It's natural as a human to anticipate the future and go, fuck, oh, what if it slows down? You know, what if next month, it doesn't blah, blah, blah. But I think like there's days as a creator where I'm sure you've experienced it too. I won't film for 3 days and all I'm doing is watching other people's videos. I might save that one. Okay, got to make this video later. I'll write down ideas for some videos I want to do. And 3 days goes by and you think about filming and it seems a little challenging.
Yeah.
It's sort of like a writer's block or whatever you want to call it. But it seems challenging because you've been inactive.
Yeah.
And I think that the biggest thing to combat that is just don't aim for perfection.
Yeah.
Just do it, man. Like,
every
time I just go, you know what? Like, I'll do a take of like, it's good enough. Sometimes like, no, do it again.
Yeah.
But I think just take action and don't strive for perfection, because if you try to make something perfect, you'll never get it done. You know, and your definition of perfection to someone, imperfection to someone else might be it's changed their lives.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's always the way, bro. It's always the video you didn't expect that's getting fucking millions of views, and you're like, okay, I didn't see this hitting like this, but everyone else did. You know?
So I guess the question for you then is, if you're talking about you took 3 days off and then it was like uncomfortable to get back into it and whatever, like where's your work-life balance at? And how do you manage that? Because it sounds like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it almost sounds like the content controls you. You don't control the content, as in,
right? You
feel like you have to continually produce because otherwise things are going to slow down, or it's not going to be good, or you're not going to get the views, or monetization will slow down. Like, but where do you fit in your work-life balance? Because people might be looking at you going, dude, you're famous, you're making all this money, you got all these, like, all the things. And I'm sure there's people, like, I sometimes think this about you. I'm like, dude, this guy's killing it. Like, take a fucking break, go on a holiday. Or how do you manage your work-life balance? Do you have one?
It's sort of like, the Joker, and he goes like to Batman, you complete me.
Yeah.
It's like, that's how I feel about it. Like, it completes me.
Yeah.
And
why does it complete you? I gotta ask this.
I just don't, I think if you truly want to do something, and you gotta have an obsession, bro.
You're talking about purpose, right? Like,
yeah, I'm talking. For me, it's just my purpose, and I literally have an obsession with it. Like, I try to like, I'm just obsessed,
But is there a negative side?
And well, for me, the work-life balance doesn't consist in days in a row. It consists in hours in a day. So
fuck. Okay.
No, I'm serious. So like, there's not a day.
Explain that to me. What do you mean?
There's not a day that goes by that I cannot touch my phone for work.
Yeah. Right.
Otherwise, I'm letting myself down. I'm letting my goals down and my vision and everything that I believe in. And I need to, for my mental health, check in with myself. Am I okay with this? Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm a fucking legend.
Yeah.
Like, all good. I'm not a pussy. But also, I love to wake up, do my routine, work out. Like every day is a checklist, bro. Think about how many, let's say if all you did for the rest of your life was just all that you had to do is sit in a room and then shower when you're dirty.
Yeah.
That's all we do as humans. We have to shower every day. But do you think of all the showers you have to take before you die? Bro, there'd be thousands of them.
Yeah.
Hundreds of thousands of showers. What about all the meals you have to eat, all the times you have to take a shit, like whatever.
Yeah.
So for me, I like to free my mind by waking up and
taking a shit.
Yeah, taking a shit, doing the things that I know need to be done.
Yeah.
Like your coping mechanisms. Okay, so work out, cold shower, eat soul enriching food that makes me feel good so I don't have indigestion, do my work, which is like 2 hours before midday.
Yeah.
And then that's it, bro. It's done. And then midday comes, and then I decide whatever the fuck I want to do today. Do I want to go out and film? Do I want to go for a hike? Do I want to do this, that?
Okay. Yeah.
Then, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
then
yeah,
I come home, usually, let's say I had a plan or whatever. If it's not a non-work related day, then, feed myself again at 6. And then, it's time to post again. Okay, I'll post for like an hour. And then this is the part where I struggle with. No matter how much like work or leisure I have during the day, when it gets to the part where like you're tired, 8 p.m., 9 p.m., let's say you have no events on at night. If there's an event on, or like people want to go out for dinner, whatever, this, that, party, networking, down for it. And then I come home, post for 10 minutes, go to bed. Like it's not as strenuous as it actually seems.
Yeah, okay.
It's more so the mental energy. But one thing I struggle with is if I have nothing on and I'm alone, I'm like, okay, I could watch Netflix right now. I could either do that, and every time, bro, I do not have the patience to watch a movie because the whole time I'm thinking, I could be learning Spanish right now. I could be editing like those videos. Now I have an editor, so I'm not editing as much, which is amazing because it's taking up a lot of my time.
But do you not slow down? Like it sounds like
if I slow down, I'm not slowing down to distract myself with Netflix. If I'm slowing down, I'm putting on my headphones and just fucking really just zoning out and just like emptying my cup, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And that's the thing. I don't like to watch TV before I go to bed because I feel like I could just, it's a stimulation at the end of the day.
Yeah, I'm the same.
I'm not enjoying it, why do it, bro? If I actually want to watch the fucking movie, then I will. I'm like, fuck. I've just booked to go to Fast and the Furious movie. I was like, so excited. The Super Mario Brothers movie, I was there, bro. I was glued to the screen. I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
But if I don't, sometimes we feel like we're so programmed and conditioned to be lazy from our upbringing.
We are. That's 100% we are.
And from where society is, that we feel like if we have nothing on and it's cold outside, then the first thing to do is watch Netflix.
Well, you just want to go back. Just on that point, I just want to jump in super quick. It's like when you're talking about laziness, it's 100% true. Back in caveman days, it was about conserving energy. You wanted to do the least as possible because you wanted to conserve, and you only wanted to allocate your energy towards things that might create a result, whether that's hunting or gathering or whatever it is. But you want to try to preserve. We're not built to go 100 miles an hour all the time. So, I completely agree with that.
Like rest is rest, and rest is important. And if I want to watch a fucking movie, I will. But if I don't, then I won't. And I won't if I start watching one because I feel like I should be watching one, and then my mind is like, you shouldn't be watching a movie. Like guilty. I'm like, okay, fuck off. Like I'm pausing this shit and I'm gonna do what I actually want to do.
Yeah.
And that's what I think it is, bro. I think the best thing about being a social media creator is that you have the freedom, the most valuable thing of time, to choose at any moment whatever the fuck you want to do at the time. All right, if I don't want to do the work now, I'll do it in 3 hours. Let me go for a run first. You work for yourself, and I love that. That's what I love about it, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure, dude. And you know what, man? Like I ask these questions to play devil's advocate, and I tend to agree with you because, somebody's idea of what's normal, right? Alex Hormozi talks about this a lot, and he talked about in a specific video, he goes, because I don't really care what people think is normal or what's healthy. Like, what's healthy? Why is that person's identification of healthy right or wrong?
Or why is that imposed on your life?
Yeah, like he goes, man, I love to work. Like, I genuinely love to work. Like, that's something I enjoy doing. I can sit there and work for 14 hours a day. And he goes, you know what? Then I'll go and binge Netflix. Like, that's me having downtime. somebody might look at my world and be like, that's unhealthy.
Yeah.
But who's determining what's healthy or not healthy in my life? And I think that's something that's really powerful in what you've just said. It's like you can determine if it feels right and you're happy doing it and you're allowing some sort of release and some downtime. There obviously are certain things, like you're not going to go smoke some, this or that some people do, but that might be actually unhealthy.
Yeah.
But whatever's going to allow you to like come back to baseline from such a high pressure, what's the word? Like is it alpha brainwaves, or you just like constantly beta. Is fine. And I think it's like you have to determine. I think sometimes you have to be the best judge of character of like what is going to make you in that moment feel the best, which is I think related to what you're saying, which is fantastic.
Yeah, and sometimes when I'm traveling, like let's say if I'm in Dubai or fucking Miami or somewhere, and like I'm about to board a plane, for example, and I feel I'm just floating in this world like everyone else, everyone's around me, and then bro, I whip up my phone and I have a video to post, and it just makes me so happy because it's a part of me that never goes anywhere. No matter where I'm in the world, the job stays the same. Yeah, and that's what I love. It's like coming home to me. Yeah, it's
interesting way. Like some people will listen to this, and I reckon most people will be like, "Oh man, that's not healthy. Like you're always on your phone." But I mean, at the end of the day, dude, like you're doing things that people would be looking at you going, "Fuck, I wish I was in that position." You've created a life for yourself that most people would dream of. And I'm not saying like you need to always, aim for these, high level, more materialistic things like the car, the house, the money, the this. Like you can be happy in a hut. Like there's people meditating in a cave for 16 hours a day and they're happy as pie with monks and whatnot. But, you've been able to, I think the point I'm trying to make, is you have created a life for yourself that you can actually look back on. And well, I guess my question to you is, any regrets? Like, have you got any regrets or anything that have you got anything you've regretted about? You can look back and go, I wish I did this differently, or I wish I did that differently.
Going back to like before I moved to America, I wish I wasn't a fucking procrastinator.
Where does that come from?
And what I mean is like there was always things, and I know a lot of people are like this, there was always things that you should be doing. I had a normal job. I was fucked, physically from it. And I would come home and I'd always choose the easy route. Yeah, I'd work out every day. I still had that discipline. But I would wake up at 5 a.m., set an alarm. Yeah. And to play video games. I was obsessed. Like I loved video games. Now, bro, the thought of playing a video game is like going to a brothel. Like it's disgusting to me. Yeah. Like it's like, bro, how could I don't have time for video games, and it's just like, I know that everything in my life happened when it was meant to happen, but trust me, bro, I've experienced a life of mediocrity and ordinaryism or whatever. Yeah. And I've experienced Jainism. Enough for a lifetime, bro. And I know nothing is waiting for me there. Yeah. And that's where this drive comes from. Yeah. And I feel like I'm making up for lost time.
Yeah, for sure.
But you gotta life's like a little petri dish. You gotta throw shit in and experiment and try everything.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'm the same, dude. Like I think everyone goes through, and some people still do. You wander through life without a purpose, and you wander through life not really knowing where you're going. You're kind of like in this abyss and floating about, and you can't really see what's going on. But I think it's important sometimes to stop and actually really look deep within and try to understand like what's actually getting you going.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that your phone?
Give it to me. I'll mute it.
Yeah. No, that's all good. Let me just grab it.
Thanks, bro. Yeah, but a lot of people, if you like, we obviously actual personal friends. Yeah. And I suck at replying sometimes, because one thing I do is like for my mental health is I get all the work done, and then bro, I leave my phone in another room. Yeah. I don't like to be on my phone as a consumer. I don't want to be a slave to my phone. I truly see it as a device to work, reach people, and make money. And
so what you're saying, so if I can just clarify this. Yeah. So because my concern for you was like, dude, if you're on your phone 24/7, like in my eyes, that's not healthy, because you're not actually being in the real world. You're being in this virtual reality. But what you're saying is that you actually do disattach or detach from your phone when it's not necessarily like work related.
No, I have to. I
Yeah.
have to. I don't watch.
Okay, yeah, that makes more sense. Cause
I don't watch
bro,
people's
that's fucked.
stories. And if I notice myself watching someone's story or like video for more than 3 seconds, I go straight on their profile and mute it so my brain doesn't get distracted by them again.
Yeah.
It's it's really crazy. Yeah.
Dude, your phone.
It's always
like,
on Do Not Disturb.
Yeah, dude, literally, I message you. I have to like go like send anyway to notify you because it's always like was sent silently. I'm like, fuck you, dude.
Fuck
I'm fucking
you, man.
waking you up. And it's just funny, man. But yeah, look, it's your phone would just be blown up. Like the amount of messages, the amount of notifications. If you had them all turned
I don't
on,
have them on. I don't have them on.
your phone would break.
Yeah, it would
There's
break.
no way Apple has built a phone for the amount of messages you would get or how many notifications
The
you'd get.
battery would die.
Oh, dude, it'd die in like
Yeah.
10 seconds. It'd be the world's fastest dead phone ever.
So funny.
Fucking hell. So I guess, look, I want to wrap it up, dude, because I want to ask
Yeah.
you one last question. And I want you to be completely honest with
Uh-huh.
me. I want you to look me in the eyes. I want you to get it real deep and easy. No, I'm just joking.
Okay.
But okay, my question for you, and just like a little thing that I try to tap this thing off with is, if you could give one piece of advice to your younger self, what would it be and why?
First thing that comes to mind. How young? How young is this younger self?
Let's just say like if you could look at yourself as a child. Let's talk about you're in a child. You've got him in front of you. You can see him in front of you, young Matt.
What's the
piece of advice you'd
I'd
give
say,
him?
hey, little Teo, don't give up. It's gonna get really good. Just keep pushing away. You know, that's it. And don't listen to other people's opinions. Believe your delusions. Believe your crazy thoughts because they're all gonna come true.
I love it, dude. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast. Guys, anyone listening, majority of you might already be following this motherfucker because he's got enough followers for probably 1/10 of the world. But you can get you at Teo Ricci across all platforms.
All platforms.
And man, we'll do this again. This is beautiful.
Bro, thank
I
you
love
so
you.
much.
And yeah, it was an absolute pleasure.
Love you too, brother. It was an absolute pleasure being on this. And yeah, can't wait to see where you grow, bro.
I appreciate
Can't
it.
wait to see, because I don't know if anyone knows this, but I'm very proud of Alex's journey as well. So
Thank you, my
yeah,
friend. Yeah.
you got big things for you too, bro.
Thank you, dude. I appreciate it. Love you. Cool.
Love you, man.